Now, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Babajide Koladi Otitoju BK around here, and Mayor Akinpele is also around here with us. Now, let's move straight to our next conversation. A political party divided against itself often struggles to find direction, and the Labour Party seems to be at a crossroads. Amid tensions following a recent Supreme Court judgment, National Chairman Julius Abure and leaders like Peter Obi and Alex Otti have summoned separate National Executive Council meetings. Meanwhile, Senator Neda Imasuen has expressed disappointment following saying the judgment came too late to make a real impact. The discord reflects deeper issues within the party's leadership. Okay, Mayor, let's look at it. I mean, what is going on in the Labour Party? Are there two factions calling for
it's the same problem that we had for a long time. You know, there was several we've discussed about Labour Party.
Yes.
And I said, I can't see how they can fight for power when they cannot even manage their own party. But the problem that they have now is that, you know, for a long time, people were quarreling with Abure, and they won in court.
Yes.
And then there was a time that Obi and Governor Otti decided to seize the party. They felt that they need to reform the party. So they put a caretaker committee in place. But Abure won in court, and the caretaker committee couldn't function. But there is a problem now, because when it got to the Supreme Court didn't say that, oh, this is the faction that's the authentic faction. What the Supreme Court said is that the court should not have anything to do with political parties. That things in political parties should be decided, positions
by the
political party themselves, and that it is what the organs of the party, whoever the organs of the party, there is the political leader, the leader of the party, or the chairman of the party, or that the leaders of the party are the ones that are authentic.
So we now have what you said now, who is now the authentic
that's the problem we have. That's the problem we have.
Because there's been different interpretations.
That's what I'm saying. Why there is different interpretation is because Abure had been chairman. There have been organs of the party that have confirmed Abure as chairman. But at the same time, if it is the political party that can determine their own fate, what Obi and Otti are saying is that the organ of the party, the neck of the party that met and put the caretaker committee in place, that by virtue of the judgment of the Supreme Court, that is the authentic party, because it is the decision of the party to have a new election, to have a caretaker committee that will have a new election. So that's that lacuna, because Abure will insist that, look, I was appointed by organs of the party, which is true because he's been chairman for a long time, elected by organs of the party. But along the line, organs of the party decided that there was a need for a change. In fact, that was why Abure went to court in the first place. So that there was need for, and a decision was taken. So their own argument now is that if the party decides who the leaders should be, then they are on the right path, because it was organs of the party that took those decisions. All the stakeholders within the party that took that decision. That's why everybody is calling for NEC. But the problem now is that they have to go back to the Supreme Court, because what I'm saying,
they still have to go back to the Supreme Court.
You know, they have to find a way of, because that's the only way. Now everybody can say that we are taking the right decision, and they can have enough excuse to justify it, or points to justify that decision. And what it's going to do is to destroy the party, because now you are going to have that faction as the party moves on. So right now you don't even know who the chairman of the party is. And
it will even affect future elections.
That's what I'm saying. As you move forward as a political party, they may get up to run up to the election having these two different NEC taking decisions. So they still have to find a way to go back to the court for them to be able to know which one is authentic. All
right, BK, looking at both factions, who amongst this faction has the authority to summon the NEC meeting? Looking at the Supreme Court ruling,
the the job of the Supreme Court, in my view, has not been concluded. I don't know what is in the CTC, because usually the CTC will explain a lot of things, just as we saw with Rivers. Many people, after the Supreme Court judgment, many people were still saying, no, those guys, they are no longer members of the House of Assembly, they are this, they are that, they are this. But somebody was in the open court told me that, look, forget what these people are saying, that those guys will retain their seats. By the time the CTC came, we saw that
was
the Supreme Court stated that, look, only the Speaker of the legislature can declare the seat vacant, that the courts cannot declare seats vacant. Meaning at that point that the case that was instituted
at the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt,
yes, that case was already dead on arrival.
Yes, academic exercise.
Because the Supreme Court, by that statement, had taken away the jurisdiction of the court to entertain that matter. So whoever goes, believing that he had a case, he was just wasting his time. So I don't know what was contained in this CTC. Usually it takes some days.
Okay.
So if we see the CTC and it does not address that matter, ultimately before the election in 2027, the Supreme Court has to declare which of the two party factions is the mainstream
of the Labour
organ. They will then declare that, okay, this chairman is the authentic chairman of the party. And usually the Supreme Court will look at a number of issues. Remember that NEC had declared that
they don't recognize
that Abure's tenure had expired. So with that in mind, will the Supreme Court go with that?
Okay.
What I've seen over time is that the judiciary will go with the faction that clearly has the let me say, the biggest chunk of members of the party.
Okay.
And the most powerful people, the heavy hitters in the party. I've not seen where it was decided the other way. You cannot have Peter Obi, his deputy, their only governor, most of their federal legislators, most of their state legislators in one faction. And of course, Labour. You know, Labour has been trying to seize the party.
Yes.
Labour aligns with
Peter Obi and
Peter Obi slash Otti, Nadi Usman. Nadi Usman is a late entrant into this whole game. Labour is on that side. That means that is the mainstream
of the Labour Party.
Yes. Whatever people like Abure decide to do, I've been saying it for some time that his days are numbered. They may not like it, but this is me. And I'm not saying it because I like Peter Obi or this.
All right.
This is the truth.
Okay.
That's the mainstream faction now.
Of the Labour
and
Party.
I can predict that when the matter will be decided, the courts will look at that in deciding.
All right, we have Majid calling from Ondo State. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Majid, are you still with us? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay, let's talk.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Yes, I'm still with you.
Don't listen to yourself, just keep talking.
My big brother, Baba Jide.
Talk.
I think we're having issues, with the
There's a
network.
delay, so you wait until...
Okay, all right, Mayor. Talking about the Labour Party, what are your projections? Looking at all of this back and forth, the projections of Labour for 2020. Do you think they'll be able to get their acts right?
No, I don't think so.
Before 2020,
I don't think so. In fact, I think that their every ways will probably leave the party. Already, Obi is flirting with SDP.
Okay, for the coalition.
Already for the years, it's part of the discussion to move to SDP, and I see that happening. Okay, I see Obi leaving the party. Obi will probably leave the party, and we told them when they gave the platform for Obi in the last election. Okay, but Obi is not interested in building the party because there's a crisis now. Instead of him to resolve the crisis, he's already meeting with some other people to form a coalition elsewhere. And I think that Governor Otti might even get so frustrated because as the only governor that they have, he's been trying to see how he can reorganize the party. Okay. And if he gets frustrated, he too might leave the party. Then there is the problem of the Nigerian Labour Congress.
They will not leave the party for Abure. Mark my word, write it down. These people, they will not leave the party for Abure.
Abure will rather leave for them.
Abure has nowhere to go.
Abure, you see, before now they have been fighting him. They accuse him of forgery and all that, criminal. So they cannot leave the party for him. It's not going to happen. Abga had their issues. Somebody was laying claim to national chairmanship. But the Supreme Court
Court decided it, exactly.
Sly, the young man, is the authentic chairman. Exactly. And is with the governor. So this matter will be resolved. Okay. There's no way, you see, let's face it, this division has decimated them badly. Yeah, badly. Even today, a member of Labour Party in Enugu House of Assembly has defected. More and more people are defecting. That's what Senator Imaswen is saying, that look, the way it is, how do we even go into 2027 like this? That many people have left. And they said that people should wait. They said people should wait. No, even if Supreme Court interprets, the damage has been done. Because according to Senator Imaswen, this judgment came rather late. If it was early last year, where the thing was still brewing, you know, how do you, the obedience, who constitute the largest number of Labour Party members, they are not with Abure now. No, they are not. So, and Abure is not even helping matter. He's trying to, he went to the House of Reps because the caucus, House of Reps caucus, issued a statement saying that they welcome the Supreme Court decision. He then decided that he was going to change the caucus chairman. You don't change caucus chairman. They are the ones who vote for their leader. Exactly. It's not an appointive position. What's going on? They are the ones who will choose their leader amongst themselves. Absolutely. Yes. Now you're saying, okay, Alpha Mogene, who was a journalist like us, you know, was editor of Comfort Obi's magazine, Source, was editor. Alpha is the caucus chairman. He said he has removed Alpha. He has put somebody else there. You can't be doing all these mistakes. A party is in crisis, and you are making more mistakes. You know. So
in other words, you agree with Senator Imaswen that this Supreme Court judgment is coming too late.
I would have loved this kind of decision to have been taken early last year. They would have recovered. But it's been such a long time that they've been battling this problem.
They've been doing this, yes. It's the same problem that they have with Abure that got to the Supreme Court. We had the Supreme Court, instead of deciding, just said, look, it is the party that's why that lacuna is there. But my own problem is that, as far as I'm concerned, Labour Party is very weak. You know, it's a party that became important and popular because it served as a platform for a movement. Okay. At the time. And it was the obedient movement that made it to gain ground and get respected and all that. But they cannot afford all these problems that they've been having. Because they'll be having, you know, initially, Abure was having a problem with another faction within the party. When he survived that, he's now having problem with the mainstream.
At that time, people like Obi were with him.
Yeah, they were with him. So
initially.
Yes, so now he's having problem with the people that politically own the party. So eventually, by the time they get to 2027, they will not be in a position to That's why
the position of strength.
That's why I think I'll be surprised if Obi contests on Labour Party. I'll be very surprised.
Mika, are you going to be surprised?
Oti, yes, I know Oti.
Okay.
Oti will be there, but Obi, I'll be surprised if Obi contests on
All right,
Labour Party.
Well, time will tell. Exactly.